Hello, I am Taureor and welcome back to Europa Universalis IV starting guides for countries. Last time we did Portugal, next up is Castile. Let's get to it. I have a Let's Play series on the channel with Castile, so if you want more detailed strategy, you might want to look at that. However, it is a multiplayer series, so there's also a lot of chatter. Okay, so Castile is one of the recommended countries for new players. It is a very powerful start and a rather easy and versatile one. There are a few things you have to remember. For example, make friends with Aragon, or at least don't fight them. Why? Well, because there is the Iberian wedding event. If you or Aragon get a female ruler, then you will get the event. Well, if it happens before, I think, 1510, something like that. You have more than 50 years for that to happen. And if Aragon or you get a female ruler, then quickly you will get an event which will let you take control of Aragon in a personal union, which is super powerful. And you would definitely be wise to do that. Now, Aragon starts with Naples as a personal union junior partner. And if that event happens when they are still the rulers of Naples, then you would also get Naples under your control for free. So yeah, Aragon will usually hate you at the beginning of the game. However, you should do whatever you can to not fight them and try to get the Iberian wedding event as soon as possible. Why not fight them? Well, because you would be wasting resources doing that. Now, there's also the matter of Portugal. What do you want to do with Portugal? I would recommend one of two strategies. You should either want to be a friend of Portugal and just ally with them and stick with that alliance for most of the game. And they will grow colonially quite quickly, but I assume there is enough space for both of you. Alternatively, if you want to take out the colonizers and conquer all of the New World, you might want to attack Portugal early and just destroy them, and the best way is to just make them a subject, either a vassal or a personal union member. Usually in my games as Castile, I would try to always have a royal marriage with Portugal and hope for a possibility to get a personal union over them. Why do you want them as a subject and not annexed? Well, because they have tremendous colonizing potential, and if they are your subject, they will colonize for you, and you will have control of all their colonies. I mean, not directly, they will still be under them, but when you annex them, you'll take everything over. Alright, now, who will hate us as Castile? It is very likely that Aragon will hate you, and France and England are also likely, but they could go either way. In this situation, we are in a pretty dangerous spot because England, France, and Aragon hate us. We might want to seek some other allies, for example, Austria, which might become very powerful, or Burgundy, which could just be destroyed depending on the situation. Also, yeah, make sure to not fight Aragon if possible. Now, two minor countries bordering us are Navarra and Grenada. Grenada is ripe for conquest because we get the mission to finish the Reconquista, which basically gives us cores, I think, on all of those provinces. Does it give us cores? I am not sure. Doesn't really matter. You will want all those three provinces, and you will want Navarra. Navarra, though, can be vassalized peacefully, so what you have to do is improve relations with them immediately, then form a royal marriage and an alliance, and when the relations are high enough, just offer them vassalization. You can speed that up by also proclaiming a guarantee on them while you're improving relations, etc. And Navarra will be a good vassal for you, and you'll get them for free. Now, Grenada you will just want to conquer. However, you start with a truce with them for the next 4 years. So, they will not be strong enough to resist you. However, they might make some allies in the meantime, and you will have to account for that. If they, for example, ally Morocco, well, no big deal, you can take them on. But if they ally Morocco and Tunis, for example, then it could become problematic. So yeah, keep that in mind when planning your wars. Now, expansion and colonization and such. If you get the Iberian wedding event and get your ruler on the Aragonese and maybe Neapolitan thrones, you will get the option to form the Spanish nation diplomatically. As you can see, you need to conquer Grenada to do that, and you must be ruling Aragon, and also have admin tech of 10. Then you just click the button, and you immediately annex Aragon and become Spain, which will be a very powerful decision for you, and you should do everything you can to get to that. You can also do that militarily, but basically it's much better to do it diplomatically, because you don't have to fight and core and all that. You just get it for free. Right, now, expansion plans. After you have formed Spain like that, or just after you have acquired Aragon as a subject, it will be pretty easy for you to expand into France, if you so choose, or Portugal, again, if you so choose. France will be powerful, but you should be more powerful if that happens early, and if you ally a French enemy, which could, for example, be Burgundy, but the Burgundian inheritance event is a hazard. Austria would also be a good ally for you. If England doesn't hate you, if England doesn't start as your rival, they would be a perfect ally against France. It depends on how you roll the dice at the beginning of the game. And you can just expand. You can just expand into France and into Europe if you so choose. You can also expand into North Africa, but similar to Portugal, you will run into problems, which is the increased coring cost of those provinces because of the Berber traditions. So you do have to keep that in mind. From there, your expansion, colonial expansion is very important for Castile, but not as important as the Iberian wedding. I mean, maybe even more important, but not as, let's say, pressing. It's not your first priority. However, you will still want to focus on that. Your Spanish ideas are pretty strong because they give you a bonus colonist, so theoretically you could colonize without the proper ideas. However, it's really not worth forfeiting those for any reason, and you will get an amazing increase in global settlers if you fill up 3 idea groups. Spain is geared towards 2 things: colonizing and being Catholic. You should not consider Reformation, it's not worth it. You want to keep your relationship with the Pope as high as possible so that you get the Treaty of Tordesillas, about which I was talking in the Portugal video, and so that you can get a lot of papal points that can buy you stability and such, and mercantilism. Portugal is geared towards trade and colonization. Castile is geared towards colonization and religion, so you will not be getting as much money from trade as Portugal will. However, you can still become the richest nation in the world with relative ease. Okay, now, so the idea choice will basically be the same as with Portugal for the first 2 choices. You will want exploration as your first choice, most probably, because you do want to get out there and start colonizing. As for a second choice, it will depend on your strategy. If you want to go aggressively into Europe, you might consider humanism or administrative for the reduced coin cost. If you want to focus more on colonization, you should go with the expansion ideas, which will give you more colonists, more colonizing potential. Now, trade ideas as the third idea group are still powerful. However, they are less useful for Spain, for Castile that hopefully becomes Spain, than they are for Portugal. I would recommend either trade or diplomatic or influence. It all depends on the strategy that you want to take, but if you, for example, want to go into the HRE, I mean, not exactly become a member of the HRE, but you could try and become the emperor, then influence ideas would be great for you. If you don't really care about that, but want to, for example, pursue some royal marriages and possibly personal unions around the world, then diplomatic ideas can be very useful. And if you just want a lot of money, then trade is wonderful. And as for military ideas, as usual, I would recommend quality and quantity. And they can also be useful because of the policies that you can get from them. For example, with expansion ideas, you can get global settler increase from quantity ideas. And with exploration, it doesn't really give much, but expansion is something you will most likely have. With quality, as you can see, with exploration, again, doesn't do much. And so it's not really that useful. So probably quantity is better for you in that sense. Still, exploration and expansion should probably be your first priorities. Similar to Portugal, you will want to get out there quickly and form 5 colonies in each colonial region. Let me get rid of the Terra Incognita. This is not Iron Man mode, so I can use the console to show you things. As with Portugal, you will probably be able to reach colonial Brazil first. They might already have established themselves there, but they might also go towards Africa. If you get 5 colonies in a region, they form a colonial nation, and when that happens, if your relations with the Pope are positive, you will get the Treaty of Tordesillas, which is a tremendous boost to your colonies, and that it discourages others from taking land in that colonial region, so it should be a priority. You will want to take the Caribbean if possible, because they are very rich, and just expand wherever you can. As for Africa, it really depends on what you want to do with it. In my game as Spain, I have made all of those countries here protectorates and then slowly stole land from them by just demanding territory. It is a valid strategy, it works. It gives you a lot of money because they have gold mines, but you will not have a lot of autonomy, or rather you will have a lot of autonomy in there. And it doesn't form a colonial nation, so you will not get your, let's say, your money's worth for conquering those countries. However, a protectorate is still useful and gives you a lot of trade power that will increase your income. If you want to make them protectorates, you might want to wait for the expansion ideas to be filled so that you will get a free casus belli with which you can attack them and make them protectorates for 0 diplo points, which is wonderful. I did not do that in my game, but maybe I should have. Alright, so I think that covers Africa, or at least everything but Northern Africa. As for the countries in North Africa, it's... oh, they love us. Why? Weird. Again, as I said, the coring cost is a little bit prohibitive, so if you want to focus on that, you might want to get admin focus. If you just want to focus on colonization, you should go diplo focus. And always make sure that you keep an advisor in each slot, preferably a level 1. You are quite rich, so you could afford level 2s if necessary. And I think that's it for Castile. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was at least a little bit helpful. And I will see you next time with the next country over, which will be one of the 3, Grenada, Aragon or Navarra. Still haven't decided which one. Okay, thank you for watching. See you soon.